Hey everybody, Ralph Havens here. And something really big came in this morning in my meditation, a way to have a really big effect for you, a big session for you. And I want to tell you about it. Before I do that, I want to give you a little story, a little backstory of something that'll kind of set it up of what we're up to and what I just found and a way to get a matrix energetic session for yourself. Years ago, I was in San Diego and Ben had been born, but I was still dealing with a lot of chronic conditions, a lot of bone pain, a lot of going to a lot of practitioners trying to figure out why my kidneys and my liver and my GI tract were having such a problem, and a lot of depression. But the one time I felt really, really good was when I was doing my work, my matrix energetics healing work. And I'd been asked to talk, to do a segment, a 2 hour thing as part of a full day thing in with my friend Sammy, who had opened up something called the Pacific Beach Holistic Center in San Diego. And so it was going to be an all day thing with a bunch of different healers and people doing 2 hour segments to help people. And there was about 60 or more people there. And before it started, I had in the days leading up to it, I had an intuitive message that there was going to be somebody that I was going to find a certain condition in. And it's a condition in the brain, in the head, that makes it where the head is asymmetrical and where the neck is tight and the spine is tight. And it would be a very easy demonstration of how powerful this matrix energetics healing stuff is. And so I had this thing that I'm going to see somebody. And as the place was filling up, and I think I was second or third, so I had a little time there before, and my friend and I went out and cruised over to the running store that I was part of in San Diego, because it was just pretty close to next door. And but I kept thinking, oh, there's going to be this one guy, and then he walked in, and he had a big sweatshirt that said University of Texas. And you know how you kind of get those feelings where it's like, oh, that's the information, that's it right there. And so I knew that was going to be the guy. And so what I did was I started my presentation by telling people, hey, we're going to do a lot of stuff, and you can notice what's different for you even after being here. So notice what you notice and notice what's different, because you can be different right from the chair you're sitting in, although a lot of them were sitting on the floor. And so I picked that guy out. He was way in the back of the room, and I said, feel the back of your head and feel if one side is a little lower than the other side. And then go ahead and test how your neck moves and test how your body moves. And I had each person on either side of him also feel his head and confirm that, yes, one side was lower than the other side. You check the back of the head, and once the base of the head, it was like that. And so then I did my session with my Yoda doll, which if you haven't seen that, you can find that on YouTube also. But I did a session, and then really quick, took all of about 2 seconds. And I hate waiting. I just hate waiting. I don't like to wait. I like things to be fast, and I like big changes. And it's one of my things. I guess it's still an issue with me or something, But anyway, so we had him recheck, and his head was level. And the two people next to him said, "Oh yeah, his head's different. It's level." And had him check his neck, and that was looser. So the whole 60 people, I had their attention. And during the session, one thing happened that was really cool. This woman, probably about in her late 20s or so, came up to be on stage to get worked on and to see what was different. And she had scoliosis. And she talked about severe chronic back pain. She'd even been to the Mayo Clinic, I think, some big time clinic, and had degenerative hip disease and all sorts of stuff on MRI that showed a bad back, a bad hip. And so we were doing the session, and during the middle of it, I noticed a thing that showed up the last time I saw a scoliosis shift right before my eyes. And so I mentioned it. I said, "Oh, this is PFM." And I told the story of the first time I saw this, and this woman, that her scoliosis was like clearing up right in front of our eyes. And I had a student right with me in my clinic in San Diego. she said, "This is PFM." And I said, "What's PFM?" And she said, so I was telling this to the group of 60 people, and it's pure effing magic. Is basically the shortcut version. When she had she worked with lots of computers, and whenever they couldn't get it to work, the IT guy would come in and all of a sudden it would start working, and they'd be like, "What'd you do?" And he goes, "PFM." Like he didn't know what happened, but it just all of a sudden started working. And right before I got on this session, my internet was acting so spotty, and I was like, and then it just started working. So PFM, and I told that story, and 60 people just broke out laughing. Now, when something happens like that, there's some magic in the air. And so instantly, her scoliosis looked really gone. She was feeling like better, looser. Her back and hip felt really good. And a week later, she messaged me and said that it was so good, her back and her neck, that she was going to get a X-ray and see if it was still degenerated. And so I thought, this morning I thought, what can we do? Because yesterday I was talking to a nurse, a friend of ours who we met recently, and telling her what we do and what's going on, and I was realizing, almost everybody these days knows somebody with a chronic condition, chronic pain, chronic autoimmune, chronic mysterious condition. Almost everybody does. I mean, if you're born after 1989, the statistics are that it's 54% of the people have a chronic autoimmune condition. And so autoimmune, neurological, GI, some sort of condition. And I thought, how can we get this message out to people? And so I thought, you know what we're going to do? Jen and I, and she doesn't even know yet, but she's one of my secrets of healing, is because she's always in the space. Before I go out to do my work, I always say, drop into, I tell her what, we have a little code word of like, oh yeah, this is who I'm seeing, this is who I'm seeing. And I don't give details of who I'm seeing, but first name kind of things. She runs our books, so she knows the names of people, but then she doesn't know the particulars because it's confidential. But then she does the energetic dropping into the space, so that when I'm working, there's two of us working all the time. And so what I'm going to do is do a live YouTube show. We already have a live YouTube show. It's called Miracles, Magic, and Coffee on Wednesdays. And we're going to start a new one called Fantastic Fridays. And we'll put this in there somewhere. And what I'm going to do is take one person, just as if we're in that Pacific Beach Holistic Center, and take one person and have them talk about, their challenges, their crises, their what's going on health-wise, what they really want to shift, and then do a session, just as if I'm in a giant group with people and you're on stage. So, and then we'll check what's different immediately, and then follow up over a week or two and notice what's different. Because as I was talking to that nurse, I was realizing, there's all these different models of healing. There's the medical model, and sometimes it's very important to get a medical session. The medical doctor, if you've got certain conditions, man, they're the guys that can, guys and the women that can save your life if you need to be, if something really drastic and severe happens. But for the chronic stuff, the autoimmune, the mysterious conditions, the GI stuff, the long-term stuff, I feel we have a better answer, and I've seen miracles. And so what I want to do is do an actual session live, kind of like calling your shot, like Babe Ruth, poof, over the left field fence, and then do it live, so that there's no like staged stuff, so that there's no let's just make it look good, let's just tell a story. I want it to be live, and like, who's got something, and then who, let's see what we can do immediately. And then over the next week or two, see what continues to change for somebody. And so, as you can imagine, I can't do this for everybody, as a free thing, but we're going to do it for one person. Maybe we'll open it up and do it again here and there, but we're going to do it for one person. And if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the bottom of the description, all that stuff. Let me see if I can leave it here. Yeah. So I just put it in the YouTube thing in the comments. I'll make sure it's there, but it's ralphhavens.com. Where is it? let me just see if I can do this again. And if you're interested, yeah, ralphhavens.com/live matrix energetics session. I think there might be a little asterisk after that. No, there's no asterisk. ralphhavens.com/live matrix energetics session. And you can apply to be on that live show. And then the cool thing is everybody else that watches it, whether they watch it live or later, can have a shift from the chair they're sitting in right now. And then we can all report in, because I've had so many miracles, so many that I can talk about, some that are beyond belief, that if I told you, it would just seem ridiculous. Like, you can't do that. But I've seen stuff that's changed that was drastic. And so I'd like to get this information out there, because if you've been dealing with a chronic thing, if somebody in your family has been dealing with an autoimmune condition, a failure to thrive thing, a chronic pain, something that has been unhelped, what I do is I help people get over these kind of things after they've tried everything else. And that's the magic of this kind of work. And so my hope is that you share this and you let people know about our show and our healing work. And if somebody's dealing with something chronic, severe, even the really severe stuff, it's worth a call. It's worth a call. It's worth a reach out to me and Jen. And that's my hope. That's my hope. So if you want to be the person that we pick and we work on live, there's a little application process. You'll go to that site, enter your email, send me an email, and you'll get a little email from me that says, hey, what are you dealing with? What kind of things have you tried? Would you be willing to be on the show? And then we'll pick somebody, and I'll let you know when it is. So have a great Monday. Let's get out there and live. Let's really live, All right.